What's happening, guys? Matt Sheriff here with mattsheriffing.com, and in this video I want to talk about something that happened a couple months ago in India that will definitely affect the cryptocurrency market, but will also have different ramifications around the world. So a couple months ago, the Indian leader, I'll cut a long story short, the Indian leader told the population of India that 85 to 85% of the paper currency in circulation would no longer be of value. So that's the 500 rupee and the 1,000 rupee, which represents around 80% of the money in circulation within India. And he said this within a 4-hour period, that money will be obsolete. So obviously people ran to the banks and tried to deposit that money to have the money reflect in their account rather than obviously on a piece of paper. Now, of its own, that's obviously pretty insane. And why would a government want to get rid of the majority of paper currency? We'll come to that in a little bit. But in India, the transactions that happen with paper currency is around 70%. And so if you're taking away around 80% of the money in circulation with 70 to 75% of the transactions happening in money, obviously that's going to be crazy. And 60%, around 60% in India don't have bank accounts. Hello? How are they going to deposit their money? How are they gonna get money out if obviously all this money is going to be going into the banking system? And on top of that, 25% of Indians don't even have IDs or the right documentation and the right income to get a bank account. So them saying, okay, within the next 4 hours, 80% of the money, the paper currency that's in circulation in India will be obsolete. It won't mean anything. So come deposit in the bank so you can get a numerical value for what that is. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, that is pretty crazy. No, that's freaking insane. That's absolutely nuts that a government can do that sort of thing and know the ramifications. Obviously, this is going to be absolutely detrimental for so many people in India who have a lot of people below middle class, and so much of the transactions is done in paper currency is going to have a massive effect, and people not being able to pay employees, not being able to buy food, not being able to cover medical costs, blah de blah, etc., etc. Like the list goes on. It's absolutely wild that a government can do this, and it's really the case of currency wars going on around the world. And why would a government want cash currency out of their economy? More control. Cash is one of the best private forms of payment, peer-to-peer, that people obviously in a close proximity can have. You know, you don't need an identity to have cash. There's no ledger, there's no proof of transaction, which obviously the economy has had this for quite a long time. For hundreds of years, paper currency has been around. So if a government is recalling that paper currency, they obviously want more control of the money, they want more leverage within the banking system, and ultimately they want more power. And that necessarily is not good for the average person and the population as a whole. So it's absolutely wild that this can happen. And what does this mean for the cryptocurrency market? It means that a bunch of the Indian population are saying, well, screw this. If our government's going to do this with our currency, let's move some of our money out of there. And that's a big reason why the Indian market for Bitcoin is rising and rising. And I think we're going to continue to see this. We see the same thing in China when they devalue their currency or they try and put certain regulations on Bitcoin. Boom, the market cap goes up and more money keeps fluctuating into it. So that's why I want to go in my next video, and where where Bitcoin has ended up and why the price of Bitcoin is soaring and soaring to years ago what people thought it was going to be to what it actually is and what is actually happening today, and the biggest reason why money is flowing into cryptocurrency and mainly Bitcoin. So I'm Matt Sheriff. I hope you got some good info in that video about India. You know, the current market. There's obviously a lot of different things, but those are the main points that I wanted to make and really like take home of what's actually happening and what this really means. And if a government can do that, then I mean it can happen around the world and it can have different ramifications. So I'm Matt Sheriff. Check out the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.